Hello everyone, welcome to my channel where we talk about the things we love like gaming, shows, and anime. You ever played a hell of a good game and waited for the sequel to come out just to be pissed off, disappointed with its sequel? Or just any game you couldn't wait to buy? Well, I ran into plenty of those and I chose the 10 worst ones that come out. I'll tell you this, some of your favorites will be here. I can tell because I used to be in denial about a game, and sometimes you just gotta admit when something sucks ass. Keep in mind that clearly there will be spoilers here. There are some games I haven't played because of the horrible reputation they received during its release, and I was lucky enough to not buy it, so I won't include those on this list. Plus, I know everyone else has already included them in their lists, so let's start picking the shit pile up and review it. Starting with number 10, The Walking Dead Season 2. What happened here? They had one job and they fucked it all up. Where should we begin? How about the first 2 minutes? At the end of the first game, Clementine left with 2 survivors, right? What happens in the beginning of the sequel? One of them instantly dies, and the other one disappears on you. What a crock. Then you get stuck with a bunch of nobodies who we clearly don't give a fuck about. Except for a girl that's almost about Clementine's age. Well, I ain't got nothing against her. Everyone else is either annoying or stupid as fuck. Then halfway through the game you run into a familiar face. I don't know whether it can be someone else depending on your choices from the first game, but with me it was Kenny. He is apparently alive and has a new girlfriend. I thought that was okay. I didn't really like Kenny in the first game, but he did help us out in his final moments, so I stuck by him and agreed with him to show my trust. Because the group I was running with sucked so bad, and I'm sure they would ditch Clementine any minute. But then we run into a part where we have to escape from a survivor prison run by fucking Michael Madsen. We escape by running through walkers, and then you're put in a position where Kenny's new girlfriend has her hand in a walker's mouth. So you're given the option to either axe the walker or cut off her arm to prevent her from turning. I obviously cut off the arm, and what happens next? The episode ends, leaving you with a bit of a cliffhanger and having you to wait for the next episode to load up after waiting through the next time on the Walking Dead clip, then the fucking credits, then going back to the main menu, and finally starting the episode. Oh wait, now you gotta wait through the previously on the Walking Dead clip. Jeez. So finally we get back to where we left off, and what happens next? The walker drops the hand it was chewing on, and a couple other walkers grab her and start biting her. What the fuck? So this bitch dies no matter what? You give me the option to either kill it and have her die, or save her just to get her in the same fucking position? Then to make matters worse, Kenny shows up, won't finish her off because, well, it's Kenny, and you're given only one option, to axe her in the face. I was like, hell no! Kenny's dumbass is gonna flip out and hate Clementine. So I didn't. What happens if you don't? A walker performs a stealth kill on you and bites Clementine in the neck. What the fuck? Again! So now I have no other option but to kill her in front of him, and what happens next? He fucking hates you, obviously. Oh, and the game lets me know that Kenny will remember this. What the fuck? I was forced to do the fucking decision. And then he runs off ditching you? This is one of those games where you want to say, dude, it wasn't my fault. The game made me do it. This game has so many disappointments written all over it, but this one I just had to explain it because it pissed me off so much. Throughout the game you are given decisions to make, but they all point towards the same direction. In the first game, there were moments like that where a decision did result in the same thing happening, but here, it's practically with every decision you make. I can't believe I waited for a couple years just to play it on the Vita and waste my money on a stupid fucking game, all because the first one kicked ass. I know I could have just played it sooner on a console, but I'm a better portable game player, so I'm used to waiting for good games to come out late on the portables. And by the looks of it, I'm still waiting for a good new game on the Vita. Number 9. Resident Evil Survivor. There are many Resident Evil games that disappointed us so much, but this one was the start of it all. We get to play as a nobody who's after another nobody at the location of Who Cares. The story is identical to its location, and it goes nowhere in the end. A hell of a boring game with the same graphics as those seen in Resident Evil 2. Everything about the game is so bad, but you won't believe the acting. It's actually worse than the acting in Resident Evil 1. And that is a lot to say. The gameplay is what intrigued me in the first place. I thought it would be good because we finally get to shoot zombies where we want to shoot them. As in the face. That way we can save our ammunition. But does it matter here? No. 2 problems. Shooting them in the face is the same as shooting them in the leg. It doesn't matter because they all take the same amount of hits to go down. And the other problem? You have infinite ammo, so conserving your ammunition doesn't matter. Basically, what the creators of this game were trying to tell us from the start was, buy our game, but don't try it. Just keep it for decoration, or as a coaster. Number 8. Def Jam Icon. This game makes me laugh at how horrible it is. The first game was fun, the second was phenomenal, but this one? Let me explain some of the fun features in Def Jam Fight for New York. You can create your character, use many different clothing options, fight with up to 4 players, play as Danny Trejo, and a buttload of rappers, even Carmen Electra for some reason. Use your surroundings to help you perform a deadly special on your opponent, which you have a shitload of those to choose from. But Def Jam Icon, this is your special.
Stick and move. Come on, one more shot right there. Oh, you felt that, didn't you?
I guess you really can bring the house down. Oh, I get it, game, yeah. This was by far the most retarded thing I've ever seen. The characters look nothing like what they used to. I mean, the graphics look great, but that's not what they should have put all their concentration on. The gameplay seems slow and uninteresting. The music gets annoying, and, well, just forget about this game. When you see it in stores, don't even look at it. Don't even think about it. Just pretend it never happened. Number 7. Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2. The first game was a masterpiece. It's so good it will eventually make it on one of my best games list. But this one was most definitely not what we wanted. The trailer showed us plenty of intense action and finally giving us the dual-wielding lightsabers that for some reason weren't in the first game. Because, well, maybe they were just holding back for this game. But even though the action is about the same as in the first, this one felt rushed and poorly executed. The combos are easily done by mashing buttons. You are way too strong in this one. You're not even playing as Starkiller. This guy is his clone. Remember in Spider-Man when Peter Parker was actually a clone and then the writers had to change that because everyone was super pissed? This game gave us a clone, and as much as that doesn't seem like it's a problem, it is. It sucks because we felt like we understand what Starkiller was dealing with and we went through so much with him. This guy, it isn't him. He may look like him, but it's not the same guy from the first. So that affected the story. Then to make matters worse, the story is too short. This is probably why we never got a third game. Here's another thing that made the game suck even worse. On the portable version of the game, it was only released on the Nintendo DS, not on the PSP, even though the PSP got the first one. And it has better graphics. But the Nintendo DS version was actually 5 times worse than the console versions. Why? Because the controls were horrible. You control Starkiller clone with a stylus pen. That's how you attack, by tapping the screen, and the buttons are just there to jump and pretty much useless. I bought the game and I could only stand it for about 5 minutes. It could have worked if the controls were good. Nah, that would probably just give me an additional 5 minutes of playing it and then I'd put it away. Other than these facts, the game might be entertaining in the consoles, but once you beat it, you won't be satisfied with the ending. It's best to just play the first one over and over because there are different endings and you have a ton of unlockables in the game. Number 6. Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Mortal Kombat Armageddon was a failed attempt at being better than Deception and most of all, being the final Mortal Kombat game. Maybe that's why they continue to make more Mortal Kombat games. But what happened here? When we first got a glimpse of what the game will feature, we were stoked. And the fact that we would be able to play as every fighter from every MK game made it look like it was going to be the best. But after playing it for the first time, you start to realize that little by little you are not liking the results of the game. We were promised a fun racing mode. It was very poor and it looks like there was no effort put into it. Then the characters were only allowed one martial arts style and weapon style. Why? The previous 2 games gave us 2 different styles for each character and the weapon, giving us better ways to expand the gameplay for each character, not to mention longer combos that let you switch styles during a combo. Then the fatalities have been changed to let you choose how you want to finish off your opponent. Like, pull off your opponent's arm and whack his head off with his arm, giving us a creative way to finish off our opponents. You can even connect more hits to extend your fatality before finishing off with a final blow. That was okay and all, but you have a time meter that decreases quicker the more hits you connect. That sucked because now you're being pressured into killing your opponent. I'd like to take my sweet ass time with that. So when I try to execute him, I fuck up and my opponent just falls over. Anyways, another slightly good feature in the game is the Conquest mode. You play as a character we don't really know or care about, and the gameplay is the same as in Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. That was something we were hoping for, so we should have been happy, right? Well, not really when you're not even playing as your own character. This would have been a great chance to connect it with another good feature added in the game. Creating your own character. That's fucking awesome! Wouldn't it have been better if the character you created was the character you play as in Conquest mode? One thing I thought was pretty cool was that during the Conquest mode, you find items to collect like Smoke's cigarette for some reason, which are funny and unique. When I got the strategy guide, it said that if you collected every single item in Conquest mode, you can unlock the arcade version of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. I spent so many hours trying to get every item. It took forever because if you missed an item, you can't go back to get it. The only way to do so is by starting the freaking Conquest mode all over from the beginning. That's fucked up. You'd probably say, well, you got the strategy guide with you. Shouldn't it be easier to look up where all the items are? I wish. The strategy guide is a piece of shit filled with lies. It has false information written all over it. There were like 10 items that weren't real, and I was running around for hours in the same spot looking over and over just because the strategy guide said they were there. But no. So when I actually found them all, guess what? You don't unlock shit. It was another lie. Let me try to sum up every other fuck up in the game. The crypt is boring and everything you unlock is uninteresting. You can juggle combos in the air, which look retarded. Female Chameleon is not a playable character. Male Chameleon's fighting style is the Crane of all things. Sub-Zero's second martial arts style is the Dragon, which he does not have here. Johnny Cage's second style is Jeet Kune Do, which he does not have here. Basically, you're stuck with the first default style that they all have, and every fighter you played as with their secondary is no longer an option to play as. Instead, you got great characters like Reptile using the fucking crab martial art, I don't know why. Then you got Shang Tsung doing the snake martial art, which looks ridiculous. No one has their own fatalities. Character endings are lazier than the previous ones. But worst of all, Motaro has 2 legs. Why? Why? They made up a bullshit excuse on why he is cursed with 2 legs, but the real reason is because they copy the same polygons used for both male and female characters, so here they would be forced to make a new one. But since they rushed the shit out of this game and barely put any effort into it, why not come up with an excuse to why he has only 2 legs? I think I've said enough about this game. Let's move on. Number 5. Every Dead to Rights game except for the first. The first Dead to Rights game was a lot of fun. The gameplay was great, the controls were great, the sound and music were great, the graphics looked good for the time, and the story was intense. But what about with its sequels? You've got like nothing in them. They completely destroyed what Dead to Rights was all about. Now it's like you're playing as Duke Nukem with no strategy whatsoever and repetitive levels that just don't change at all. There is nothing fun about these games. It's like they made them just because the first one was great and they needed some money. Dead to Rights was given a port for the Game Boy Advance and even that one sucked ass. You're probably saying, well, a lot of ports on the Game Boy Advance were toned down a lot in order to fit into the cartridge. Yeah, I agree. But look at Max Payne. That game was almost identical on the Game Boy Advance, so there's no excuse. They even included the cutscenes with audio of Max Payne narrating. But yeah, avoid every other Dead to Rights game except for the first one on the consoles. Number 4. Power Rangers Super Legends. Now, let's not confuse this one with the one on the Nintendo DS, because they are both completely different and the DS version kicks ass. Seriously, what happened here? You got one hell of a good concept going on, which is bringing back Lord Zed, bringing a bunch of other main villains and Power Rangers from almost every season. How could you go wrong? Well, as long as you give us some shitty graphics with Power Rangers that all look very identical and have nothing different to show, then you got yourself the perfect fuck up. Till today, they've released a Power Ranger game for every season. They suck, by the way. But finally, we got a great idea going. Nothing in the game makes you want to progress though. The gameplay is very boring. Everything you do in the game is like a rinse and repeat moment, which is already boring from the start. The music sucks. You don't get any of the awesome tunes from the Mighty Morphin music. There's literally nothing in the game that makes you want to progress. I know I wanted to force myself to go all the way till the end so I can fight against Lord Zed, but the game is just too damn boring. Even if it has your favorite Rangers in it, it don't mean shit. Oh, and some of them, you have to unlock them. But the way to unlock them is by simply collecting every word that spells out Ranger. Easy, right? Hell no! Just like in Mortal Kombat Armageddon, if you miss the letter, you can't go back. You have to start all the way from the beginning of the level. And hope to God that you don't miss it. I say that because some are in spots where you're falling and you only have one chance to get it. You miss it, then start all over again. Some are super high, and the only way to reach it is by keeping an opponent alive, juggling his ass in midair. And every hit you give him will push him slightly up, so you just gotta constantly repeat doing what you're doing and hope that you don't fuck up the routine. Otherwise, once he hits the ground, he's dead and you won't have another way to reach it. Therefore, start all over. Or better yet, therefore, don't buy the fucking game. Number 3. Tekken 6 on the PSP. Just to let you all know, I fucking love Tekken. And I love the PSP. So when I got Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection on the PSP, I loved every minute of it. because it gave us so much. We even got additional characters which weren't even on the PS2. We didn't get Tekken Force, but these extra new characters sure as hell made up for it. But then years later, they announced Tekken 6, and it was gonna come out months later on the PSP. I hated that I had to wait longer if we wanted it on the PSP, but I waited patiently by playing Tekken 6 on the PS3, of course. So we finally received Tekken 6 on the PSP, and how was it? Oh man, I missed those $50. What I could have done with them. Let's just say, even if I planted those $50 in the dirt just to see if money can grow from a tree, that would have been a better way of wasting that money than on this fucking game. Why would they ask for so much and give us nothing? What we got instead was a fucking app. The game had nothing to offer. No Tekken bowling, no unlockable content, no secret cutscenes, no secret menu background, no special modes, no game sharing, no Tekken Force, no Tekken Dojo! One of the best features in Tekken 5 was Tekken Dojo! This lets us rank up a character and take on all sorts of fighters from around the world. How was this done on the PSP? By copying everyone's customized character and making a ghost out of it, then putting that character in Tekken Dojo. Insane! That's a great way of making us fight random people from around the world when online play is not able to be made. I spent probably over 100 hours on that mode itself. But on Tekken 6, can't do shit other than fight the computer on arcade mode. Which doesn't fucking end. Arcade mode is more like survival mode. Then, if you think you can have a little bit of fun with story mode, then that's what you're gonna get. A little bit of fun. As in, you only fight 4 fucking characters. What the hell is that? Why would you do this? The game is fucking pointless when you can't do shit other than play survival arcade. Arcade mode is the way you rank up your favorite character. But again, there's no challenge, there's no point in playing this. Tekken Dojo rewarded you with fighting ghosts of players from around the world, rank up to become the Tekken Lord or secretly earn Divine Fist. Also in Tekken Dojo, you fought bosses, you had tournament matches, gold rush matches, time attack matches, and you were rewarded with so much. Tekken 6 was a major disappointment. I felt like they just ported the arcade version in the game. No, actually, that would have been better than this. The gameplay is perfect and has 0 flaws, but what's the point? The only reason why I played it for a bit was just to get better at it as Warang, Lyle, Lily, and Christy for whenever my friends and I would play it on the PS3. But other than that, there's no other reason to play this game on the PSP. Tekken 1 has more to offer. I shit you not. Number 2, Celebrity Deathmatch. Some of you might not know anything about the show, but back in the mid-90s, MTV was showing a show where the animation was made by stop motion. And what was this about? Celebrities fighting to the death. I fucking loved this show growing up. Every episode had celebrities brutally killing their opponents. Some were very hardcore and the matches were funny, creative. There were steel cage matches, fights with up to 8 fighters in the ring. I mean, how can you complain when you got Stallone taking on Schwarzenegger, Men in Black against the X-Files, the Beatles in a free-for-all match, NSYNC versus Backstreet Boys? I mean, this show had it all. It lasted 4 great seasons and we loved every minute of it. Then they announced this game. I was so fucking excited about playing it. My boner was rock hard. I just couldn't wait to get my hands on it. The game finally comes out and, well, to sum it up, let me tell you what Game Informer gave the game. A 3 out of 10. Holy shit. That's gotta be the first game with the lowest score I have ever seen. But the sad part is, that I didn't see the rating before buying it. So my dumbass bought the game wasting about 30 bucks. Not too bad, but still. That would have been a kick-ass meal instead. So the game has some celebrities, about 20. That right there was the first mistake. How can you give us a celebrity deathmatch game with only 20 playable celebrities to choose from? Do you know how many celebrities there are? I'm pretty sure there's more than 20. But hey, you got create a celebrity mode, so that should make up for it, right? Well, I tried it. The first character I wanted to make was Judge Mills Lane, but you can't make a celebrity bald. Wow. Nice work, guys. I can't even make the referee. In a fight, every character has their own moves and finisher. The only cool thing is that you can cut off your opponent's arms and legs. But other than that, there's nothing more. The game got a 3 out of 10 for a reason. I'm sure I don't need to explain more of why this game sucks. Balls. Number 1. Superman 64. Yup, this is number 1. A lot of you are saying, this shouldn't be on the list. We hated the game from the start. Yeah, you want to know why we hated it? Have you all forgotten why this game has so much hate from the start? Because of this.
Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen have been kidnapped. Who will save the day? You are Superman. All the powers are yours. Flight, heat vision, super speed, super strength, freezing breath, and X-ray vision. Buy early and receive a DC Comics Collector's Edition Superman comic book. Superman, the new Adventures video game.
This fucking commercial tricked the shit out of us. I mean, how can you expect the game to suck when it shows that you can do all his special abilities and fight crime? These slick fuckers definitely avoided showing the rings. This is what the commercial should have looked like. Ever wanted to take ring toss hoops to a whole new level? Then what are you waiting for? Play as Superman, where your greatest challenge awaits. Beating the first level. It takes mad skills to learn the mechanics of the game in less than 3 seconds. If you expect to win, go up against rings, and more rings. If you get through the first level, then you wouldn't have a problem going through more rings. Fly through rings and show Luthor how serious you are about rescuing Lois and Jimmy. Where are they? Get through the rings and find out. Play multiplayer with your friends where you each play as a villain from the series, flying in a... Take down all your opponents using heat vision, freezing breath, and super speed. But only if you get through the ring levels. Superman 64, only $39.99. I know I ain't the only gamer who got suckered into buying this game brand new because of the commercial. The game has some bland graphics, nothing in the music department. The action is... Is there action? The story is nowhere to be found. I think it's hiding underneath one of those rings. Oh, and the best part of all the worst things in the game is the controls. The controls are perfect if you're straight up wasted. This game wants you to play it drunk. So I suggest you start coming up with some creative ideas on drinking games to enjoy this masturbation of a piece. Well, that's the end of the top 10 list. I hope you enjoyed the video, so put a thumbs up. And if there are any other disappointing games you think should have made the list, let me know in the comments, and if you want to see more of my videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll let you know when I post up more of my videos on my top 10 lists. This is Score saying, have an awesome day. Subscribe. Listen to your voice. Your subconscious. You know you want to. Click on one of these videos. Click on them, or I will eat your heart. Or will I?